Better late than never. Sofian Amrabat should be starting the next game. Honestly, the guy has made a case for himself. My name is Webb. This is the United World Sport. Thank you guys for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't, just walk the talk. Let's do it as we keep growing to 10K. Now, the talk of Manchester United now is so many things from the leaking roof that was as shaming as it came. I also saw a video of the away dressing room. When I went to Old Trafford, I did not get to visit the away dressing room. But again, if the away dressing room is really leaking like that, what a shame that would be. But away from all the bad, I think we've known that and the mess they wrote the Glazers, left this Old Trafford Stadium to go into. Let's focus on the football because that's the more painful mess. Now, Sofian Amrabat has been training. Of course, you recall how he fell when Martin Odegaard just tricked him like he's going to go turn this way, then he went the other side, then boom, Amrabat. It was not a good sight for the eye, but that shouldn't define his performance. I thought Sofian Amrabat played simply his best game ever since we signed him. This is the Amrabat we are hoping to get when we agreed to pay nearly £10 million to Fiorentina for him to come on loan. Now, of course, people are now bringing back Fred, saying we let go of Fred for £8 million and brought in Amrabat on loan for 10 million and thereabout. And of course, well, it's not good. It's not good to cry over spilled milk, especially when it's too late. I think it's too late for us to go into the Fred talk. Yes, it probably was a mistake to let go of Fred. He had the heart of the club. He was a fighter. But I mean, it is what it is. But Amrabat, by and large, I think had a good game. And if you ask me, I am thinking he was one of the few positives in that game. And I think he should be starting the next game. That's the reward. When a player performs well, their reward should be playing the next game. For me, that's what I think Erik Ten Hag should be doing. And you can ask where will he play if Casemiro is there? Where will he should he be playing? Here's the thing: we are playing a Newcastle side that is going to be extremely direct. That passes the ball, I think, even faster than Arsenal in a good moment. We need a player like Amrabat who is going to box out people, who is going to slow them down. We need him in the game. If you ask me, first, these are some of the changes I think. I think Erik Ten Hag needs now, first of all, to give chance to those players who have got the will to play. Wayne Rooney just said that he doesn't really believe all this injury talk. He thinks certain players are hiding behind injuries because they don't want to play for Erik Ten Hag. I've said it here before. I told you I was never convinced that Marcus Rashford is really injured. I think he can play. Certain players are just hiding behind injuries so that they don't play, so that the manager takes all the flack for the poor performances. They want the season to end as bad as it can end, so that Erik Ten Hag is sacked, probably because they don't like him. So why then do you cling on to these players if you're the manager? I think the worst started or the worst selected starting 11 in the eyes of Erik Ten Hag played against the best Arsenal team and played one of the better games we played the entire season. What then do you do? Trust these kids. So for me, this is my only expectation against Newcastle. Don't take back Casemiro in central defense. Kambwala is back on the bench. Play Kambwala. If Johnny Evans is fit, I'm hoping he doesn't go back injured again. Play Kambwala and Johnny Evans in central defense. If you don't want to bring in Lisandro Martinez because you're keeping him for the FA Cup final, that's all right. Play Kambwala together with Johnny Evans. In the middle, let Amrabat be the number 6. Then play with two number 8s. Have on the left Kobe Maino and on the right have Casemiro. Or yeah, that's it, guys. I'm being honest. United has got to change the way we play if we are going to have respectable performances. We need to adjust. Erik Ten Hag's way has got to be adjusted a bit. Play with two number 8s, with one expected to try and commit forward a bit, contribute to the attack. The other is more restricted. Then one is sitting because Amrabat has got the discipline to sit as a number 6 and be there patiently. So play Maino and Casemiro in front of him, either side of him. If yes, he's shielding the back line and these two number 8s. Then Bruno, we're not sure if he'll be back, but at least we know now we've got an exciting player in Amad Diallo. Let Amad Diallo start on one side. We must have a striker. Hoyland, let him be there. And Garnacho. In the event that Bruno is back, I think United can make the sacrifice because Garnacho is not improving. He's making the same mistakes. Yes, he's a good player. Don't get it twisted. He's an important player. But I mean, if day in and day out, every game you're coming and making the wrong decisions, you're not passing the ball to the striker, you're only trying to score for yourself, you're being selfish. What then do you do? Doomed if we have you, doomed if we don't. Bench him, let Ahmad start with Hoyland up top and Bruno if he's back fit and Bruno. Because there should be a sacrifice. Of course, the obvious thing I think to many would be if Bruno returned, then it's most likely going to be either Amrabat or Amad Diallo making way. That for me, I think would be the mistake. If Bruno returned, and don't talk about Scott McTominay, because Scott McTominay was there as a stopgap measure because it was too bad. He's never going to come when Bruno, for example, is back. Certainly, McTominay pulls out. But my thinking for me is the midfield has got to be intact. It must have Casemiro, Kobe, and Amrabat as the one sitting in the remaining games. Then if Bruno is fit, he must be starting. So put Bruno there. Where you put him, Bruno can play so many positions. Either you put him on the right, then put Ahmad on the left, then Hoyland up top, bench Garnacho. Because for me, my feeling is good as he is, Garnacho is not giving us results. I mean, he's as good as not there. He makes a good run, beats off his man, and makes the wrong cross. Either tries to go for goal when he possibly can't, hitting the side net, or trying to cover the ball too much. Instead of just looking for a striker, we bought a striker for £72 million. The kid is just being frustrated by the same teammates every day. And he's not the character, obviously, to go out to the manager and tell him, because perhaps he did it before with Diogo Dallo and he saw what happened. It didn't come off well with him. It, I think, only got worse for him probably after that. So what then do you do? As the manager, you're doomed when you have these players. You're doomed if you don't. Garnacho is not untouchable. Yes, if he's not performing, let him rest a bit. Probably he just needs to get his head right and know, yes, you're 19, but you've got to mature in your head. You're a good footballer. You take on defenses, but make the wrong decision. So we've got this Ahmad kid who is doing everything right. For me, the first thing Erik Ten Hag needs to do is, first of all, Ahmad must be a starter for all of the remaining games, including the FA Cup final, by the way. Ahmad must be a starter unless he's injured. At the end, we don't know how bad the injury is. But if the injury is bad, of course, Garnacho will have to start. Forget about the Rashfords who are not willing to play, because from what Wayne Rooney is saying, certain players are not hiding behind injuries because they don't want to play for Erik Ten Hag. They just want the season to get done, and that's it. Now, if that is the case, and I'm sure Marcus Rashford obviously will be victim number one, it's obvious. But if that's the case, then play these kids. And I think we've got enough kids. That's why I kept saying before that even if the injuries were there, even if we've had all these injuries, the issue was never the injuries. It was the selection. Yes, the injuries were an issue, but also the selection and the usage of these players. Because if you look at how we played against Arsenal, where was the team fully back? Well, there was no Bruno, there was no Lisandro Martinez, there was no Luke Shaw, but we played reasonably well against Arsenal. Why? Because the manager adjusted something. So the injuries might be a problem, yes, but it cannot be the only excuse for us, losing 4-0 against Crystal Palace. It is the usage. He brought in Ahmad, played well. Brought in Amrabat, used him well. Brought in all these players, and you saw that United were playing like a professional team. They were trying to put things together and trying to ask questions of Arsenal. That's for me was the issue. The issue was, yes, the injuries were there, but how do you deal with the players you have? So for me, Erik Ten Hag's lesson from the loss against Arsenal should be Amrabat needs to be starting against Newcastle. He must compact the midfield, change his things around a little bit. Kambwala, let Kambwala play central defense. Forget about playing Casemiro as a central defender. We're wasting him. Casemiro gives us better value playing in the middle when he's shielding the back line with attacks. It doesn't matter how inexperienced the person behind him is. If he's there and he's doing his job right, he's certainly going to limit how many balls get to the central defense. So they won't have a lot to do. Other than him being in the central defense, and there's no one to shield him. So he has a lot to do, yet he's not a natural centre back. So that's, two. Number three, Ahmad, we are hoping that the injury is not serious. If it isn't, he should be starting every game, including the FA Cup final. Four, Alejandro Garnacho isn't untouchable. He can be benched if he's not performing, if he's not improving in his performances. Five, Manchester United is not as bad as we claim it to be because of the injuries. Yes, the injuries are there, but if we put the right use to these players, we can get better result. My name is Webb. This is the United Hotspot. Subscribe and let me catch you later, fam.